Hey guys, it's Ryan, and we are on another day of our build here. Last time we finished up the insulation and the fabric, which you can kind of see right here, the fabric covering on where we put in the mineral wool. And mineral wool wasn't my first choice, but it's definitely a lot cheaper. There's something to be said about, those mineral fibers being around in this area. That's one of the reasons why I put the cloth on it to help kind of contain that. We'll see if that actually works, but you never know. So the next step is what I've kind of started right here, which is getting the walls up. So we're gonna get the walls up and the walls painted. So that's kind of this whole process. We've got all the electrical in. So once we get these walls up and painted, then we can do the ceiling and we can just keep going from there. Now, as you can see, like on this one, that's an electrical outlet or not an electrical outlet, that's a feed from our switches on this side that'll go to some dimmable lights, dimmable light strips if I ever get around to doing that. It's kind of roughed in just in case I want to do that at some point. As you can see, some of you can't really see back in there because that's where the infinite darkness is, where we did all the mineral wool behind that, and then we covered it in the black fabric, and that's going to be the backing to where our speakers are going to be. So the mineral wool will help with some absorption on that. We're going to do that. It'll be filmed over just a day or two here because the days are getting longer and the light is staying out longer, but it's still an after work project, right? So after I get done with work, I come out and I work on this. Got family, all that stuff. So over a couple days, we'll get all this up. But for you guys, it'll just be a few minutes. So let's go for it. All right, so the paint is done, and as you can see, it's very, very red, and I actually didn't mean to do it quite that red. I meant to do it more of a maroon, but this is kind of a deep crimson. It ended up being a little brighter than I thought it would be, but also ended up being more shiny, and that's the light, the work light shining. That's from the door, and so it's a little more shiny than I initially had thought. But let's jump in here and see what we did and address any challenges that we faced along the way. So like I said, it is very red, and you can kind of see the shine on here. This is actually a satin, but from what I was reading, for MDF you need to use an oil-based paint. So we actually ended up doing like an oil primer, oil-based primer, oil-based paint. It's also an enamel, so it's gonna stand up to the elements a little bit better and wear and tear. But we ended up doing oil-based on both, enamel on both, the primer and the main coat. I ended up having to do 2 coats of this. I didn't really let the primer dry long enough, so it's kind of hard to see, but you can see sometimes there's like a streak in between. I was using a paint gun for some of it, and that's what ended up kind of happening. There's HDMI cable. But that is the red, and it is super red. Let's go over here and see if you can kind of see,
you know, how red it's actually going to be. Anyway, we taped off all the electrical here, which helped a lot. We taped off this HDMI cable. Don't look at the ceiling yet. That's the next video. But then we got, it's looking pretty good, I think. I really hope that, you know, as it dries and hardens and cures, maybe the sheen will come off, the reflectiveness will come off. I don't know, that's probably being a little bit too optimistic, but let's hope, because that's really shiny. That's why I went with a satin instead of a semi-gloss, or obviously I didn't want a gloss. But we'll see how it ends up. But that's pretty much it for this. We got these walls up here, which were great. This was, just as a reminder, this was 3/4 MDF, and these are just little MDF, or hardboard is what it is. So we put some hardboard trim on here to make it look nice, and I think it does. I think it actually turned out pretty good. So not too bad. So I think next time we're gonna work on the ceiling, because I already kind of started already, but you know, anyways. Okay, if you like this video, we're putting these in a playlist so you guys can go through the whole process with us and kind of see what we're doing. This one was a long time. It was a long video just because it took a while to get all this board up, kind of figure out what I wanted to do. I always have things in my brain, but not until I actually get them out here can I see if I was right about what I was thinking, if that makes sense. Anyways, if you like it, go ahead and thumb up this video. Consider subscribing. This isn't normally what we do, these kind of videos, because it's a little bit of a techish production audio video channel. But whatever I feel like doing. And this just happened to be a project that we're working on, and I think it's gonna look pretty cool when it's done. So stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching.